Okay, so we're gonna get started. Once again, thank you for everyone who stuck around to BYOBF Network's first Supergirl Within conference at LA Matheson. We're very honored to be here, and we hope you've been having an amazing time. I know it's been a long day, but we've got the best part next. But again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't courtesy of our amazing sponsors. I would like to thank our platinum sponsor, PHI Hotel Group. It's because of them. Again, we're here. They donated also all the t-shirts that you're wearing today. And I believe we have a representative from PHI Hotel Group as well. If you're here, please wave. Thank you so much for supporting the Be Your Own Best Friend Network. We really appreciate it. We'd also like to thank Dr. Dhar and Harv Panda for their donation, as well as our gold sponsor, Harbir, Deol, Notary Public. Harbir Deol is here as well. Thank you. Harbir donated all of the notebooks and pens that were in your swag bags today, so a special thank you to her. And also thank you to the Sabharwal Law Group. We're very fortunate that all these groups and organizations are supporting the Be Your Own Best Friend and supporting all of you to feel empowered, to recognize your strengths and your values, and to also give you the opportunity to explore various careers. As mentioned earlier, my name is Sikhi Goman. I'm one of the founders of the Be Your Own Best Friend Network. And as I mentioned earlier, I didn't really start off in the industry that I currently work in. I work as a marketing and events manager at UBC. But like your teachers here, I started off as a teacher first. Decided teaching wasn't for me, then I decided to work in media, and I volunteered quite a bit where I gained that love for marketing and event management, which has led me to where I am today. But next, we've got some great people from various industries today. And many of them, they've also gone through different career paths as well. And I'll quickly introduce each one of them so you know who they are, and then I've got a whole list of questions that actually the students wanted me to ask you. So we'll bring those up today as well. So I'll start off with introducing Sharan Sumal. Here's Sharan. Sharan is Head of Product Innovation at Daily Hive, also formerly known as Van City Buzz. She's also a UX specialist at Applied Digital. I know a lot of you might not know what user experience means, but it's within the tech industry, so she'll talk more about that. And prior to entering the digital environment, Sharan had a background in psychology and criminology and spent 8 years working in the mental health and addictions field, primarily with the extraordinary people of the downtown east side. And her passion lies in working in the tech industry and creating digital products that add value to people's life. Thanks for joining us, Sharan.
Thank you.
And besides Sharan, we have Aimee. Aimee, I always say your name wrong, last name wrong.
Sehwoerer. Sehwoerer.
Okay, I'm not even going to try to butcher it. You think it's like. And Aimee is a financial planning consultant at Investors Group. Aimee came to Canada as an immigrant and fell in love with financial planning. She wanted to work hard to help women and their families feel in control of their finances. And Aimee provides quality financial advice on investment, debt, and estate planning for Canadian families and their growing businesses. Thank you, Aimee. And beside me, I have Sandeep Gill. Sandeep Gill is a social worker in Surrey, and she is also the founder of She Writes HerStory, a platform dedicated to raising awareness around oppression faced by South Asian women through poetry and storytelling. And currently she is working on publishing her first book and creating events focused on celebrating women's voices. Thank you, Sandeep. Then we have Mandeep Patrola. Mandeep? Not everybody knows you.
Oh, no, sorry, I was fixing my language.
That's
like,
okay.
Mine only one that's like backwards.
Mandeep is a television host. She's also a doctoral student, meaning she's doing her PhD. She's a professional MC, actress, athlete, and community activist. She's pursuing her doctoral studies in neuropsychology and clinical psychology. She's a black belt in martial arts and has won several black belt championships. She's also the captain of the esteemed UBC Girls Bhangra team, which was the first all-female competitive Bhangra dance team. And she is currently the director, one of the directors of the Vancouver International Bhangra Celebration Society. Thank you, Mandeep. And last but not least, we have Dr. Mona Sandhu. Dr. Mona Sandhu is an optometrist with her own practice at Clayton Heights Optometry. She was born in New Delhi, India, and Dr. Mona Sandhu immigrated to Canada with her family when she was 6 years old. They had initially moved to Toronto, where she completed her Bachelor's of Science, and then she later completed her Doctor of Optometry in Boston. After getting married, Dr. Mona Sandhu moved to BC and opened her first practice. She decided to take some time off in 2008 to help raise her 2 children, and last year opened her second practice in Clayton Heights in Surrey. Thank you, Dr. Sandhu. So that's just a brief overview based on our guest today. But maybe I will start off by asking Sharan, you know, what's it like for you working in an industry, the tech industry? You don't hear a lot of women working in tech. What's it been like for you, and what sort of feedback would you have for someone who might be interested in learning more about the tech industry?
Well, there's a lot of different aspects to the tech industry. So where you don't see a lot of women is more in the programming section. I work in the UX design and UI design part of it, and there actually are quite a few women and a lot of diverse women, so I don't really feel alone in that aspect of it. It's more, we need female programmers. Any of you out there? No?
Thank you. And Dr. Mona Sandhu, for someone who's interested in going into becoming a doctor, you know, there's a lot of, I guess you could say, hardships that you may face. What word of advice would you have for someone who might be interested in entering the medical field?
Well, working hard is the top thing, I think. Getting into any sort of health profession, you have to also love people, love interacting with people, because if you don't, you're not going to like this. It's not just about getting into it for the money. I mean, a lot of people do get into the medical and health profession because they want to do really, really well and earn a lot of money, which is great because everybody wants that as well. But you want to have that passion to want to help people and make a difference in people's life. Communicating with people is also very important. Also, sometimes, you know, you're alone, one-to-one with somebody, so you want to feel comfortable being in that type of situation as well. So I would say if you can do that and you like doing that, then that's you to get into the medical profession, but do not get into it just for the money.
Great advice. And next question is for Mandeep. I think some of the girls asked this question because we had a session on social media. So the question is, have you or anyone you know ever been put down on social media, and how would you deal with bullying or peer pressure on social media? Because I know you work as an MC, as a television host, you're very out there. Have you ever experienced any type of bullying online?
Personally, I haven't experienced bullying online per se, but every time you put yourself out there, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a storyteller, you know, you work in the creative space, there's always going to be people out there who love you and really enjoy your work, and then there's going to be the people out there, you know, who have some negative things to say. That's going to happen any and every single time you put yourself out there. Even if you're an athlete and you're on the basketball court and you're playing, there's always going to be somebody out there who has something negative to say. So I have experienced that, you know, whether it's been on television, whether it was when I gained a little bit of weight and then all of a sudden we started getting all these phone calls, is she pregnant? You know, you do hear these things, but how you deal with it is being strong on the inside, is being strong up here, and knowing your own worth, knowing that you are, excuse my language, teachers, badass, right? Being confident in the abilities that you have, right? There's something called constructive criticism, right? If someone gives you constructive critique, hey Mandeep, you know what, maybe don't lean over so much when you talk, or don't use your hands so much, that's constructive. Always take that constructive criticism and work on the things that you can work on. However, if someone is, dodging you for your weight, or the way you look, or maybe the way you presented something, remember that you got this. It's about being strong up here, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this more later on, but as long as you're strong up here and you're confident and you know that you are absolutely good at what you're doing and you're working towards even bettering yourself, those comments won't affect you. And that takes time. It's easier said than done. Everything we say up here today is a lot easier said than done. But through practice, and I still have to work on this sometimes. I have to check myself and say, you know what, no, it's good. I know what I'm doing. I'm confident, I'm beautiful, I'm strong. As long as you remind yourself of those things, you'll be fine. I talked a lot, sorry.
Our next question is for Aimee. Aimee, how did you get into your field of work in finances, and what interested you about it?
So the first thing, I love working with people. I love networking. I love talking. I talk all the time. But also I love numbers. I love to play chess. I was always intrigued by, what's going to happen in the next 6 months, what's going to happen in the next 3 years. Like, I have all my life planned ahead, and I was even 10, I was already planning what I wanted to do. So when I moved to Canada, I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. I used to have a business there, and we focus a lot on doing strategic work. So when I moved to Canada, I say, okay, my goal is I really want to work with people. I really want to make a difference in people's life, but I also want to look at something that has to be with numbers. So everything clicked together, so that's why I decided to join the financial industry, because it complements everything that that I was looking for.
Next question is for Sandeep. Sandeep, what do you find the most rewarding about the work that you do?
What do I find the most rewarding? There's so many things. So with my background in social work, often it's a time where a family is in immediate need and you're able to support them, whether it's getting housing or they're leaving a situation that is dangerous, potentially domestic violence. And they're able to look at you and say, thank you, you really helped me. That to me is so powerful, to know that I had a positive impact on making somebody's life a little bit better, a little bit easier. When she writes her story, I get so many emails from women, young girls from around the world who connect with the stories and poetry I share. And for me to know that there's people out there who are experiencing similar things, that to me is what is rewarding.
Sharan, working in the tech industry, what do you enjoy most about your job?
I think the most interesting thing about the work that I do on the applied digital end of things is that I get to work with some of the world's greatest brands. So I work in the Fortune 500 sector, and so I get to actually invent and iterate on products that have been built for companies like TSN, Estee Lauder, Virgin, etc. And I think that that's the most interesting piece of my work on that end. On the Daily Hive and being the head of product, it's actually a very interesting experience to live out the full product cycle and keep making it better and better depending on the feedback that we get from our consumers and supporters. So that's
Thank you. Dr. Sandhu, you're a busy woman, you own your own business, you have a family, you have children. how do you balance, or do you have work-life balance, and how do you have that balance between your family, your work, and spending time with your friends, and for yourself?
Well, when my kids were little, it was not easy, I'll tell you that. Having your own practice or business and having a young family does take its toll. And especially with women, we want to be the best at every aspect of our lives. We want to be the best career person, we want to be the best mother, be the best wife, and it can be really hard. You get torn in a lot of different directions. So that was why I made the decision with my first practice to sell it, because I couldn't be 100% mom and 100% business owner, practice owner, and be good at what I was doing. So I wanted to be 100% mom. I chose that over being 100% doctor. And I think that was the best decision I made for myself, because I was able to spend a lot of time with my kids as they were growing up. I didn't give up my career. I still worked part-time at other people's places, and that was fine. I kept into the profession. I kept up to date. I still worked. My kids still saw me working. I have 2 girls. So it's important for me to have them see me working and enjoying what I do, but still being part of their lives. And now my oldest is in university and my youngest is in grade A. So I feel that I've done my job and I can concentrate on my profession, and I feel like they're independent and I can go back to work. Thank you. Full time.
Next question is for Mandeep. Mandeep, did your parents always support you, or how did they react to your desire to work in media? Were they proud of you, and were there any challenges that you had to overcome?
To be really honest, there's still a lot of challenges on the family front. Well, I have to give a shout out to my mom. She graduated from LA Matheson, so she's like, oh, you're from Westfield. She played field hockey here, so she's super like LA Matheson. What's your guys' mascot? Mustang. Yeah, she's a Mustang all the way through, man. But anyways, my parents have been very supportive. I've never lived a conventional life. Conventional meaning doing everything kind of how you're expected to do it. Yes, I graduated. Yes, I went to UBC right away. But after that, I started to discover that I had other passions other than academia. I have a brother who's a lawyer. I have a brother who's a dentist. But I've always been into academics. But in university, I kind of learned that I loved working with people, and I was just naturally had the ability to get in front of an audience and just start talking. I mean, I do talk a lot, but I figured out I was good at it. My parents were really pushing the academics. However, when they saw me kind of just working my way through, I don't have a broadcasting or journalism background. All the experience I got, I went out and sought it myself, whether it was behind the camera, in front of the camera. And my parents saw that, there's a real thing here. And they've always supported any passion that we've had. And I think a lot of our success, or I know my success and the success of my siblings, comes from the fact that my parents truly believe in us. Like, my dad thinks I can do anything. And I remember hearing a conversation with my mom and my dad. They'll never praise us in front of us, but I remember this one day, he's like, you know what? If Mona, that's my nickname, he's like, Mona should go into politics. She could become the prime minister. I was like, wow, this guy thinks that I can do anything. But that is where the foundation of success for me, I believe, starts from, is from your family believing in you, which gives you the power to believe in yourself. And it really starts, I think, from our homes. And so my parents were really supportive, and now I'm in a position where I'm able to pursue 2 careers.
Aimee, working in finance, do you notice specific challenges to women or women who are minority working in the financial industry, if any?
I'll say, like, right now, I think time has changed, and I see more and more women joining the financial industry and being recognized, which is, for me, I wanted to be in a place that recognized you as whatever gender, whatever religion you are, and I think that's very important for you to be in a culture that elevates you in that sense. So yeah, I actually see more and more women joining now the financial industry.
Thank you. And Sandeep, there's some questions here because it seems like a lot of the girls are interested in social work. They just wanted to know, how did you get into social work, or what path did you take to get into social work? And if there was something you wished you knew about the path you took before you entered.
So social work is amazing because you can travel around the world and practice. I also worked and practiced social work in Peru as well, so that's something what I always wanted in my career was to be able to travel. So that was one of the reasons I chose social work. I think naturally you generally want to help people and you're a people person, so when I factored my personal traits that I really admire about myself, they led to a helping profession. And the other part was around...
Or if there was something that you wish you knew before you entered.
Yeah, yes. We learned about it in school, self-care, but I don't think I really knew how to implement that in my own life. You're working in a field where you're dealing with a lot of sometimes trauma and really stressful situations. So how do you leave work at work and not bring it home? That's something I wish I would have really explored and learned a little bit more about before I went into working. I was going to just say, if you do go into this field, definitely take the time to know the kind of things that you enjoy. So if it's meditating or working out or things like that that are actually going to be healthy and positive for you.
And you also went to Peru with your work. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I always wanted to travel, and after university I spent a few months backpacking. So I started looking at jobs that I could do abroad. And even though my parents weren't exactly excited for me in the beginning, but they've always supported me with that. So I worked for a nonprofit organization in the city of Arequipa, where we worked in rural communities and supported the community with providing school, food, a nursery, an after-school program, and we had volunteers from all over the world.
Great, thank you. And Sharan, we have some questions about working in the tech industry. What's your least favorite part of the job?
My least favorite part of the job, I guess, would be my company does two things at Applied Digital. We do product strategy and then we do product design. My passion lies in product design, and a lot of times we build out the strategy for the product and I never get to design it. And so that's sometimes the worst part of it. Somebody else gets to do what I want them to do.
And maybe share a bit more about, I know we were talking earlier that you come from a small town. You didn't know right away that you wanted to enter the tech industry. How did you make that transition from one career to the other?
That's a really big question. How do I answer that really quickly? So I was working in mental health and addictions when we first founded the company. It was called Van City Buzz at the time, and we didn't know we were actually building out a product, but that's actually what we were doing for those 7 years. And I realized that we never had any proper processes in actually developing the product, which is okay because the industry of user experience design didn't even exist 10 years ago, and it didn't really formulate until 5 years ago. So 7 years into it, we decided, well, we should probably learn how to have a proper process in-house to build out this product design. And so I went back to school despite having 7 years of experience and just not being, egotistical about it. It's an industry that changes so quickly that you often have to learn how to forget things really quickly in order to learn new things. And so it just kind of progressed on its own, I guess. And here I am.
Now I'm just going to open it up to if any of you, if you guys have questions. I know I had some of yours, but perhaps there's some additional questions that were sparked during our conversation here. Does anyone have a question for one of our panelists?
For all of you, when you were involved in the profession, did you always want to be what you are now?
Let's start with you, Sandy. So the question was, in your current career path, did you know that's what you wanted? And how did you go sort of?
I think I always knew I wanted to go into social work or some kind of counseling. And yeah, I went to university for social work. For me, the writing part was something I never expected. And that, I think, came out of social work where I needed an outlet. And then writing is kind of what stepped out of that. And that I didn't know, but I love it.
I've known since grade 12. I had no idea what an optometrist was prior to that because my family, we were new to Canada and my parents had no clue that we were supposed to check their kids' eyes. And I actually found the profession at the guidance counselor's office and I looked it up, saw videos, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I was always fascinated with eye stuff. So I thought that this might be something that I was interested in. I volunteered at the optometrist's office. So volunteered in an optometrist's office and I really liked it. So I went for it.
Going into university, I always kind of knew inside somewhere that I wanted to, one day I'll work in media, and that's always kind of something I kept kind of like way down below because my parents really pushed academics. So when I graduated from UBC, I actually wrote the LSAT, and that summer I was supposed to go away to law school, or after that summer, but I just started to work in a brain and behavior lab at UBC, and that changed everything for me. Just to be able to be on the edge of scientific discovery where like what we do is we translate what's happening neurologically in the brain, and I could go see him too. We see what's happening up here in the anatomy of our brain and with our neurological system and how that comes out as our behavior. So that to me was extremely exciting. And then I had written the LSAT, like law school was ready to go. And then I just said, sorry, mom and dad, like I think I really want to pursue this. And then that's how I fell upon this field. And as I started progressing my academics, I just realized, this was not too long ago actually, that I've put my internal passion for media on the back burner for so long. And I come from a family where the belief is that it's never too late. So traditionally where people may have felt, but you should have done this when you were 21. And I had enough support to believe that I could do it now. So this is something just in the last few years that along with my academia that I've been pursuing.
My journey's been, like I said just before, it's been a bit all over the place, and I just kind of went along with wherever life led me to. So originally I went to school for something way different than tech, and tech was just something that fell into our lap, I guess. And so even in this industry, the path is still a bit all over the place, and there's no like linear path to where I'm going to go to next. I just take it day by day.
So I had no idea. Like I actually started in human resources when I was 19. Then I moved into marketing. I graduated from marketing, and then I founded my first company in marketing. And then I was like, okay, there's still something here that I'm not feeling like I'm not fulfilled, and that's why I moved to Canada. But I noticed like a pattern in every job that I took. It was always something in there, like a common, repeating. It was like talking to people, working with people. Like I had that purpose, so I kind of know that I was going to end in something that I would really enjoy, which is what I do right now. And I'm 36 years old, and I actually find out that this is like, I took all the steps before to where I am right now. But if I didn't settle for maybe when I was 18, 19, that I was still figuring out what I wanted to do, then probably I would be doing something else. But the point here is like, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get where you want to be, as long as you keep trying and keep exploring different, different areas.
Thank you. So, thank you to all of our panelists. If any of you guys have additional questions, no worries, because our panelists will be staying for our networking portion of the day. We're just going to do a quick switch over of the room, and we have some of our amazing networkers already in the stand, so they're going to get set up as well. And then we'll have Matthew Gillen sort of do a quick little intro to the networking reception, and we'll go from there.